Ever get off a free consult and think, oops, I gave away a lot, and I'm not even sure that they're going to work with me? In the very early years of my business, I felt that way too. I thought the best way to show my value was to give as much as I could in free sessions. But here's what I've learned. After testing, tweaking, and running more than 750 discovery calls, giving too much too soon can actually overwhelm people and keep them from hiring you. So, by the end of this episode, I'm going to teach you how to structure a discovery call that respects your time, communicates your value, and helps the right people say yes without sleaze or pressure. Let's do it. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, the show that helps coaches and consultants get clear on how to talk about what you do, simplify your offers, and have more fun in your business and beyond. I'm Annie Franceschi, brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. I'm here to help you clarify your message, package your expertise, and streamline your systems to grow a business you actually enjoy. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. When I started out, I did what a lot of us do and are taught to do. I thought, well, I need to prove my value on this free consultation, this discovery call. So I'd hop on a Zoom and give away all the good stuff: advice, strategy, brand audits. I was taught that this was the great way to get people interested in what you're doing. And of course, they're going to want more. But here was the problem I kept coming up against again and again. People would walk away feeling overwhelmed and not empowered. And they certainly weren't going to hire me. That didn't feel good. It felt like giving, 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 and then silence. Eventually, I realized that I was making it hard for people to actually see the value of working with me. They were getting on these calls. I could not help myself to give them all of these great ideas, but they weren't investing in those ideas. They had no skin in the game, so they weren't going to go implement. They got some of my best advice, but there was no accountability, so they didn't do anything with it, just overwhelmed. I didn't get a client, and so really nobody won. Fast forward to now, I have led more than 750 free discovery calls. And in doing so, I have found a much better way to make them valuable for the other person without draining myself or underselling myself. The thing about what we do as coaches, consultants, and service business leaders, we are not selling coffee cups. Okay. We are not making our money based on selling, 1,000 coffee cups. We are selling our experience, our insight, our ability to lead transformation. So what we have to remember is that nobody is going to click buy now on a $5,000 package without talking to a real human first. They have to get to know us, like us, and trust us. So I firmly believe that some sort of a discovery call is an important trust building moment in your process that has to happen for you to do the work you do. People are not just hitting add to cart on your services. So you've got to talk to them. But I know discovery calls go off the rails in a number of ways. You can feel you have to coach the person instead of consult on their issue. You don't feel clear on what to say or where to guide this call without consulting some sort of a script. I know if you're like me, you might overgive. And so then they walk away with this to-do list instead of the desire to work with you. There's a big cost to all of this. You burn out, you feel confused, ultimately you're losing business, and you don't have the best brand reputation because you're not actually working with clients, getting results, and moving things forward. I'm here to show you another way. I had to create another way because this idea of just giving the free sample of what you do just never worked for me and my personality. I just want to give, give till the end of time. I know a lot of marketing people will say, well, you got to give free samples. And look, I just did a whole episode about how it can be really important to give generously and give free samples. It's episode 43. But I'm going to stand on this hill with confidence that I don't think free consultations are effective if they are simply free samples. I've had a couple people say, I'm a coach and this works really well and it gives people a chance to try coaching. Don't let me talk you out of it. But if you don't fall in that category or you have tried this and you end up not booking clients, some of the tips today may really help you take your calls to the next level and help you to feel good and help the person across from you to get some value and know how to work with you next. I don't close every conversation, But I have a business that makes consistent six figures and has made multiple six figures in a year. And I love the work I do and I love the people I work with. So, for doing this for more than a decade, here is what has changed a lot for me when I think about my free discovery call. There are two angles I take, and we're going to explore them together in some key teaching points today. What works for me is a combination of mindset and method. Mindset for me is sales is service. Your job on a discovery call is to help someone make a good decision, not to force a fit. And secondly, method. I want you to structure your call with a simple, repeatable flow. Listen first, match second. When you do this, it feels good for everybody and everybody wins. Nobody feels overwhelmed and everybody gets what they need from this incredible opportunity to work together. That always feels way more aligned, kind, and effective to me than some sort of a complicated sales script or putting people on the spot or getting people to whip out their credit card. In my experience, you don't have to do all of that to be successful, to be profitable, and to make real money doing the incredible work you do. So if you have felt that kind of pressure, my hope is that what I share with you today is a breath of fresh air, that it's assuring and gives you a real, flexible, and authentic roadmap where you can show up with confidence and turn free conversations into incredible clients. Let me walk you through what this actually looks like. The first thing I want you to practice is to show up neutral and not needy. What I mean by that is whether you've got two consults this month or 20, you can't show up to this call like it's gotta be the one. You have to get this sale. People really feel when you are coming in with that kind of pressure, and it puts you in a weird headspace. I tell myself, and I'll tell you, this is not a Cinderella moment. I am not trying to make this shoe fit if it doesn't fit. I am really there to serve the person that I am meeting with. How can I get them the right solution? How can I speak up if that's me? How can I refer them if it's not? When you come in neutral, it becomes so much easier to say, you know what? I may not be the right fit, but I know who is. And trust me, that comes back around like a karma boomerang. Referrals, respect, all of it. I'm often given the compliment. And people will say, well, thank you for your candor, or thank you for being transparent. And I'm big on that because I show up to these conversations willing to say yes if it's the right fit and to really know if it's not and to call that out at the beginning because I don't take on a client unless I can hit a home run for them. And if I get the sense that for whatever reason, it's not the right person, the right project, the right time, or the right reasons for us to work together, then I'm going to refer or I'm going to send them a resource or I'm going to tell them it's not the right time right now because that is the best way I can serve the person in front of me. The second thing I want you to know is when you do your discovery call, you should frame the call with purpose, not pressure. Here's how I often describe my free consultations. This is a 20-minute conversation to help you figure out your top branding and business bottlenecks and match you with the right solution. If I can help, I'll share how. If I'm not the best fit, I'm going to try to connect you to somebody who is. I want to set those expectations and communicate value to tell people exactly what they're going to get when we speak. And this is a gentle way of letting people know that at least how I run these conversations is not as a free coaching session. When you're in the conversation, I'm going to give you my favorite go to question. I am not big on having a script. I think that gets me really tripped up and feels really inauthentic for me. So here is the number one thing that I always ask in these conversations that you can take away from today. What do you want to make sure we cover today? I know that sounds a little silly, but this is truly my best strategy here. It's so simple and it cuts right to what matters most. It cuts right through somebody sharing their life story or all these issues that they've been having because time is of the essence. And it's like, literally, I'm saying, like, what do you want to make sure we dial in today? What is top of your list? And that often gets us right into what matters. And this question, it's so simple, so easy to ask, and so generous, works for me every time without fail. What do you want to make sure we cover today? It cuts the noise, it gets people focused. All right, here's the next thing I want you to know. I want you to structure the call. and especially listen first and then match. My consultations are currently 20 minutes. And I find that that's sort of a sweet spot. I know there are folks that offer 45 minutes, an hour, and you really want to think about who your ideal clients are and do they have that kind of time? And if the answer is no, you want to be on the shorter side. I found 20 minutes is a great amount of time for us to get into things. 15 is a little too short, but I'm going to tell you how the call runs, and I think that'll make things even more clear. But I stick with 20 because you also want to keep in mind that while you're not charging for these calls in most cases, you are asking for people's time. So when I see people doing like a 45-minute call, I go, ooh, that might really be hurting you depending on who your ideal clients are. Now, if that's working for you, fabulous. But if you have them and no one's biting, I might consider making it shorter, especially if your ideal clients tend to be really busy people with packed calendars. And to consider the fact, would your ideal client be intimidated to sign up for that amount of time with you if they don't already know you? Part of the value of a discovery call is building that know, like, and trust and starting your relationship. So they don't know you necessarily yet, right? So I'd say 20 minutes. And here is how I break down my 20 minutes. If yours is 30 or longer, you can apply this, the same idea, but it's really in two halves. So if my call is 20 minutes, I take the first half, the 10 minutes at the beginning, to listen. And then I take the second 10 minutes to match. So the first half of the call is really about listening and learning to where this person is stuck. Where are their bottlenecks? Where are they frustrated about? What do they need? Where are they in their business? And active listening back to them. Here's what I heard you say. Here's where you are. Here's what you would like to have happen in the next 6 months, etc. The second half is where I'm going to lead the call and say, here's what I heard you say. And here's a solution that this made me think of. And I might talk about my offer. Or, actually, based on what you said, I think you should have a conversation with my friend Hannah or my friend Hattie. Or I think you should check out this book. Or I think it's too early for us to work together. That's where I'm deciding whether I'm going to offer that person a service, I'm going to refer them, or I'm going to say, hey, we're not a fit today, but I wish you all the best. It is so helpful to have this roadmap, this structure, because without it, you could talk for like 40 minutes, over deliver, and not have a client to show and not have served that person because you just threw a bunch of ideas at them and didn't really support them in getting the transformation that they need. Not everybody needs ideas. A lot of people need accountability, implementation, strategy, dedicated time to do things. That's where your service comes in. That's where a great referral might come in. By having this simple format of listen and match, you stay in control. You're able to stay generous, but also offer a lot of value. Here's how I frame this at the beginning of the call. I'll say that this is really a matchmaking conversation. And I truly believe that that is the value. That's the value I try to show up in a discovery call with. I know when I have hired people to help me with parts of my books or, different parts of my business strategy over the many years, I have loved signing up to talk to that person and having the value of saying, look, I'm coming to that person. I'm interested in working with them, but I don't know if it's the right time, if they have the right service, if our budgets are aligned. So I really want to work with somebody who can have a call exactly like what I'm describing to you. I emulated what I needed in the market as well. I don't need a freebie conversation. What I need is to talk to somebody before I spend several $1,000s with them. And I want them to get a closer look at what I'm doing, go, you're absolutely right. You've been thinking about working with me. I think it's the right time. Here's how we work together. Here's how that process works. They're very confident in what they do and they make it an easy yes. Or they say, you know what, it's not the right time and you should work with this partner, etc. Remember that even if you're not giving a ton of free advice, there is so much value in helping people move forward and know what would be the right way. Even if they don't yet have the budget to invest in it, knowing what the thing is that they should be focused on to solve is huge. Which leads me to my next point for today, which is if you're going to do free discovery calls and you want to get more clients, you need to be able to clearly talk about what you offer. I had a client once in my magic strategy day, and I was helping her refine her elevator pitch. And I said, hey, when you have a conversation with someone about coaching, what are you offering them? It took this person 45 minutes to explain what it is they did for clients. That was a huge bottleneck to that person getting clients because they weren't clear themselves on how to talk about what they do. And that is a bottleneck. Okay. One of my mentors, Kate Rose now, she says, confused people don't buy. I will add, confused business owners can't sell. So let's fix that. Here is a favorite tool I use to help fix this, both from your own side of things, if you don't feel particularly clear, and on the other side to make sure it's super clear when you have this call over Zoom, when you talk about your offer, that it clicks for them and they get it and they're like, yes, I want to work with you. I swear by what I call my offer one pager. This is a one-page PDF that outlines my offer clearly. I have sold more than $600,000 in services just using a PDF like this. No sales page. Clarity sells, and this tool helps me stay consistent, confident, and clear in every conversation. And in the process of building it, I'm able to get clear myself on how I talk about it and what matters to my ideal client. I consult on this using my package your process framework, but there is a great episode about this. It's actually episode 1 of the Establish Yourself podcast. So I will put that in the link, but that will teach you all about offer one pagers if you would like to know more. Because again, confused people aren't going to buy and confused business owners can't sell. So let's fix that bottleneck for you right now. And last but not least, I want to talk about how we wrap things up. And I want to take the pressure off. Do not try to close any new client in 20 minutes. Here's what I do instead of that. I use my free consultations to figure out fit. Is the person across from me coming to me at the right time for the right reasons? Do I have the right solution for them? If there's alignment, in the call, I offer a next step. It's usually a free 30-minute kickoff call where we go deeper, we map out working together, we schedule our sessions, and it helps us get off to the races. This works really well because it's zero pressure, no awkwardness. It gives this potential client space and time to process while we keep momentum going. I don't put any pressure on closing during the conversation. No whipping out credit cards. I think that's wild. I certainly have conversations where people are ready to work together. And if so, great. The next step is always the next step, which is setting that free kickoff call to make our plans about working together. That call is actually kind of an onboarding moment where we get to talk about where we're going to go moving forward no matter what. But there's zero pressure to set that when we do a 20-minute call. Some people might set it afterward. Some people might come back months later. I offer the opportunity to schedule it there live, but if someone's not ready, that is cool. Because I'm not trying to close in the room, there's no sleazy tactics, there's no high pressure pitch. I'm happy to answer questions about investment and timing and availability. All of that can happen in a 20-minute call. I don't want people to be surprised, but I think there's a real difference when you get on a conversation and just going like, look, this is just about us getting to know each other and figuring out if we would be the right partners to work together right now. If so, here is the next step. Let's set this free kickoff. If not, take the time you need. Now, if you've been listening to this and you've been thinking, I need to be way more clear on how I talk about what I do, I need an offer one pager, I need to show up to these conversations clear and confident. This is exactly what I do with Package Your Process. Together, we can work privately to develop your offer one pager, and confidence around how you articulate your value. To explore whether this is a fit and to actually have one of these conversations with me, you can head to greateststorycreative.com/consult and hop on my calendar right now. Literally, I'm going to practice what I preach. And if I don't, you can report me to the free consultation cops for sure. Now, a heads up, I do take every December off, and this is late October now. So if you are curious about working together soon, I would hop on my calendar now before December, especially if you think you might want to work together early next year, as I'm already booking for January. And thank you so much for only setting this conversation if you are curious about working together. If you are not yet ready, that is totally cool because I have so many resources on my website at greateststorycreative.com. You can find a free chapter of my book and other amazing tools that you can use, like my referral message creator, to help you get more clear while you wait to have this initial conversation with me. I will be ready when you are ready to chat. Now let's bring it all together today. Here is what I want you to take away when you are thinking about how to turn free calls into paying clients without feeling sleazy. There are 5 key things I want you to remember. Number one, being neutral, not needy, brings you the best clients who are so excited to work with you. 2, frame the call clearly. Let people know what it is and what it isn't. 3, structure equals sanity. Spend the first 10 minutes listening, the second 10 matching, and don't forget to ask, what do you want to make sure we cover while we're together today? 4, clarity converts. Use a simple one-pager or clean offer language. Make sure you're clear on what you have to offer and make smart matches. Last but not least, 5, just remember you don't have to close in one conversation. Focus on connection, not conversion, and your ideal clients will gladly take the next step with you. Now, I have even more tips about how to sell without sleaze and things that I practice in these calls and beyond them when I talk about the work I do. I break these down in episode 13, which is how to sell without sleaze. So I'll put a link to that in the show notes so you can dive deeper if you'd like. I am so excited for you to show up and rock your next discovery call with more confidence than ever now that you know some ways to do this without giving away the farm and without being sleazy. My best advice to you is keep going, keep practicing. There's so much you can learn in these conversations about yourself, the people you want to work with, and how to talk more clearly about your offers. Some of this comes down to showing up and having the conversation. And I know that today you're more prepared than ever before. Go rock it. Hey, do you like surprises? The credits are about to roll, but just like a Marvel movie, stick around to the end for something I put in just for you. Thanks for listening to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi, and if you're enjoying the show, it would mean so much to me if you follow it, leave a quick rating, or share it with a friend. And for free branding resources and more ways to work together, head to greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now here it is, your moment of magic. Oh my gosh, I had the best discovery call last week. And one of the reasons it was absolutely incredible is near the very end, the person I was meeting with was like, "Oh, wait, by the way, who's your favorite Muppet?" And I was like, "Am I being recorded? This is the best conversation I've ever had." So if you dread sales calls, they can be so great that someone across from you asks you who your favorite Muppet is. That's what we call ideal client fit, y'all, for real. And no pressure if you don't have a favorite Muppet, but I feel like everyone should have a favorite Muppet. And maybe I would start another podcast about that. And in case you're wondering how I would answer that, my favorite Muppet is definitely Kermit, which I know is a basic vanilla answer, but he represents all of the Jim Henson of it all and the magic, the sincere love of silliness. My favorite Muppet pair are Bunsen and Beaker. And my favorite Muppet that isn't Kermit is Robin. Robin is Kermit's nephew, and my son's middle name is Robin, both because my husband loved Batman and I love the Muppets, so it's a double reference, but he's so cute. He's the best. Okay, you probably don't want to keep listening to me talk about Muppets, but if you do, we should definitely talk about this more. Okay, bye.